Welcome back to It Resolves, where we play a new deck every single day. Today's deck is Bant Invoke. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here at It Resolves, we like to have fun, play new decks, and hopefully learn a little something along the way. Not always, but we try. Today's deck is Bant Invoke. This is actually brought to you as well as John. So yesterday's deck was brought to you by John. Today's is as well. He sent this to me after a conversation we had yesterday and said, dude, you got to try this deck. And I am very excited to be trying it today. This deck is extraordinarily fun, only played a handful of games, and the game plan is fairly simple. Obviously, it is an Invoke Justice deck, so the idea is to get some big, heavy-duty permanents into the graveyard, and then be able to invoke them back. Now, what permanents, you ask? Well, we have got Portal to Phyrexia, which I think is a very solid one to be able to get some stuff off the board on the opponent's side, and then be able to throw some creatures onto the battlefield at the beginning of our upkeep with this, which is just a great way to take over the game. We have another amazing card from the new set, which is one with the Multiverse. This card is ridiculous. I did get this down in my first game. You can look at the top card of your deck at any time. You can play lands and cast spells from the top of your deck, and then once during each of your turns, you can cast a spell from your hand or on top of your library without paying its mana cost. Kind of a stupid card, very omnisciency. If anybody knows that card, that's very similar. Titan of Industry is also in here. All-Seeing Arbiter is also in here. And then the rest of the deck is very built around kind of permission and then board sweepers, things like that. One of the things you will notice, we do have Urza and the Mightstone and Weakstone in here, so we do have the capability of getting Urza Planeswalker down. Definitely a nice one, but we do have a little bit of draw with Faithful Mending. This is going to get some cards into the graveyard as well. We do have Joint Exploration, which is a really nice way to hopefully ramp, as well as draw some cards and kind of fix the top of our deck a little bit. Fateful Absence to deal with creatures and planeswalkers. Thirst for Discovery, again, kind of acting as another Faithful Mending, right? Drawing a few cards, being able to discard some cards as needed. Urtai's Scorn is in here as a just phenomenal counter spell. Obviously, it starts at 3 mana, but it can cheapen up a little bit here, which just makes it very lucrative and very good. We also have Devious Cover-Up as a way of being able to shuffle some of the cards into our graveyard back into our deck. So if we do find ourselves up against a creature deck, we've had to maybe depopulate or farewell a handful of times, or maybe we just need to pull back and Invoke Justice. This gives us an option to do that and then hopefully build ourselves back into a solid answer. And then finally, we do have Teferi Temporal Pilgrim here as well. One of my favorite cards, just amazing, amazing value. One of the things I will note is this runs 24 lands. That might seem a little low given we've got so many expensive spells, but do keep in mind here, guys, we are drawing quite a bit. We do have the Joint Exploration to be able to hopefully get an extra land down, and truthfully, a lot of our value is in that 5 mana slot, right? We want to be able to get to the Invoke Justice. That's the big one. So I think 24 lands is correct, but I could definitely see an argument if you're trying to just play these cards at some point down the line, maybe sneaking in an extra land there. But overall, I think the deck is wonderful as is. John, as always, my man, you do a great job. Thank you so much, not only for this, but just being an awesome dude and an awesome part of the channel. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump into game one. Let's see how we do. All right, guys, and here we are for game number one. Now, this hand is probably not keepable, right? We've got no blue mana, just tons of overgrown farmlands. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this one down. This is not great, but better for sure. I think we can go ahead and throw one of these lands back. I think that's probably safe to do. And here we'll probably just lead with the Deserted Beach, just to be able to get a tapped land down. It looks like this is going to be the Soldiers deck. I have seen different versions of this Soldiers deck going around. Definitely a really scary deck, and unfortunately with that Thalia, it makes it even worse. But we can counteract that just a little bit with the Urza, so we'll see. But I think for now, we'll just play out a blue source and pass, obviously. Can't do too much else, unfortunately, but I'm intrigued by this. If we get just like a sweeper, like theoretically we should be able to finish this off, but if we don't, I think that's kind of what it's down to, right? We really just need a sweeper. That's basically it. And with that in mind, I'm wondering if instead of doing anything else, we actually just Faithful Mending. That's a perfectly reasonable thing, because they will be able to attack in, most likely, No, you know, I'm actually gonna go this route. This seems a little sketchy for sure, and I don't know if this is the right call, but this does stave off some attacks, so they are gonna need to remove this unless they've got that, sure. So they are gonna throw a counter onto something here. So maybe that was a bad call, but that's okay. They're gonna get an attack for 5 in here. Do we wanna block this? I don't think we do, actually. I think we're saving more damage there without. So, okay. Let's see what we can do. Let's go ahead and Faithful Mending, because we do want to gain some life and definitely need to get down to, let's see, let's get those in there. We can get to the Invoke Justice. That would be killer, right? Like, that would be really, really good. If we could survive a turn, I'm actually going to keep the land on top. Just in case, and we'll just pass here. So basically all we want to do is live this turn and hopefully get that portal to Phyrexia down. I think that's definitely the play. Unfortunately, they have got just so much damage on the field, and I don't think we're going to be able to really do too much about this. Let's see how they decide they would like to. Yeah, that's so good. So yeah, they're gonna throw more counters around. So we definitely just make the biggest block we can, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One turn away from getting a portal to Phyrexia down, but unfortunately, well, actually, no. Technically, with the Invoke Justice off of the Thalia, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So you know what? Fair enough, you got me. Let's go ahead and jump into game 2. What's up, guys? Before we jump into the next game, I just want to remind you that we send out altars every single month to participating Patreon members. Now, please don't feel pressured, of course, but if you are interested in supporting the channel and picking up some awesome altars every single month, you can check out all the details over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/itresolves. This month, to honor some of the most impactful lands we have ever seen in Magic, we have got the Urza Legendary Land Cycle, including Serra's Sanctum, Tolarian Academy, Phyrexian Tower, and Gaia's Cradle. If you're interested in picking these up, they will be available through the month of November and will be sent to you at the end of the month. As always, guys, we really appreciate the support, and thank you so much for watching the videos. I hope you all enjoy the gameplay. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 2. Don't love this hand, to be honest, but we do have a Fateful Absence with, of course, the Urza coming down. I will try it. We definitely need lands, and unfortunately, this is the only scary situation with running 24 lands. Obviously, in a deck like this, you really need to hit every single land drop, and so it is important to note that potentially adding one land might be a little bit more helpful just to smooth things out and up that statistic a little bit. But overall, I mean, I haven't run into too many issues with this, but certainly in this scenario, right, we are not in the best place. So we gotta hope to do a little better here. Looks like potentially Esper, which is usually just like the Rafine deck. Okay, Dreams of Steel and Oil. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. Wow. Well, that's really terrible. All right. Well, this is the risk we took, right? So let's see if we can get somewhere with this. Okay, a land is a start. Unfortunately, we can't actually play Urtai's Scorn off of the lands we have, which is less than ideal, but we do have Fateful Absence, and the white source does get us closer to Invoke Justice, albeit we don't really have a great option to pull back at the moment, but we'll see. Looks like the opponent is just kind of chilling as well. So I think we will probably end up joint exploration using that play, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case. And we will go ahead and kick it just in case we do pull a land. Obviously, getting an extra land down now will hopefully kind of help mitigate the land drop issues we've been having. At this point, I take any land, truthfully, so that's why I left the green source on top. Ideally, it would have been something else, but it is what it is. So we are back up to 5 mana. It looks like the opponent is in a similar issue, albeit it looks like they've solved their issue as well now. All right, so I am in a Faithful Mending on our main phase solely because, again, we do need to hit lands here. Specifically, a blue source would be great. And look at that, we did it. Discard 2, huh? It might honestly just be Invoke Justice twice. That feels a little odd in an Invoke Justice deck, but I think this actually works out best for us. I'm gonna go for Spara's headquarters here. This does take the kind of secondary cost of Urtai's Scorn off the table, but it doesn't really look like they're doing very much. Yeah. Now we are in a pass and wait and see kind of mentality, right? So we can Faithful Mending, hopefully get some stuff at the end of their turn into our graveyard, and then be able to invoke Justice the following turn. I will go ahead and counter this. It's just something we don't have to really worry about. They, I believe, knew about that, but I think that's fine. And they probably have something really scary this turn, to be honest. But we do have plenty of answers, truthfully. As long as they don't give us too many discard hits, like, we should be okay. Let's go ahead and Faithful Mending now. Hopefully hit, like, one with the Multiverse would be cool. Wow. Heck yeah. Okay. We did hit. I don't know what the second card is that we discard. It might just be a land, weirdly. Let's try it. I'm assuming they have counter spells, right? Like, they kind of have to. They are a potentially 4-color deck. Yeah, Dissipate. Okay, fair enough. You got me. Discarding the other Invoke Justices was maybe not the best play, but that's fine. Nice. Thankfully, we do have Farewell just to take care of all this. Do I do this first? No, I don't think so. I think I just take the damage, and then we'll Farewell. I don't think I Farewell out the graveyard, right? I mean, we want our graveyard very clearly. Yeah, we'll just do this. Get both of these out of here. I don't want them drawing extra cards, so pulling the trigger on this now might seem a little preemptive, especially given we're at 22, but Shieldred plus a Reckoner Bankbuster means they gain a lot of life, and we don't really have great solutions. And yeah, Invoke Despair would have been a lot worse for us in that scenario. I do really like to vary here. That's pretty good. Kind of have to hope they don't have very much to deal with this, but I mean, it's something. Let's see what they've got. They did not play an instant speed removal spell, so that's good. But if they do have another Invoke Despair, obviously we're just kind of wrecked. I'm gonna weirdly do this. This gives us a draw, and we kind of desperately need a draw. We've got Depopulates, right? So we can deal with most of the creatures that they might want to play at some point. But we actually get to draw a card out of this, which is more than helpful. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops. Give me something good. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I think we actually are just gonna hold on to that headquarters, so we should be able to cycle it. So we can Urtai's Scorn something here. That, definitely that. And if they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell, but we're going to make them use it. And we do have Depopulate to be able to deal with the 2/2 if they go for that route. So, we'll see. We will see. I don't think we've been playing perfectly by any means. I was hoping we could do a little better, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and cycle this. Not, seriously. Not a very exciting draw, unfortunately. So, another Farewell would be pretty good. Let's go this route first. We will kick it because we can still depopulate. Oh, that's interesting. I think we'll keep that on top. I'll throw this down. I'm actually gonna do this. Seems a little strange potentially, but I really don't want them to gain too many extra pressure pieces, if that makes sense. Okay. Yep. Fair enough. Wow. Okay, well, Depopulate again is probably gonna be the play. We can actually do basically everything in our hand now, so that's helpful. Let's go ahead and Depopulate first. Get rid of all that. They're gonna draw, makes sense. They want to gain the 2, so easy way to gain extra life. That's back up to 2, so it'll be at 3 next turn. Chances are we are losing this game, but we are trying to put up a fight at the very least. But chances are they've got, you know, Invoke Despair, something along those lines, which is going to finish this off. Go for the throat, that'll do it. Excuse me, guys. So they are ahead of us on the Teferi race now. They can, once this gets high enough, they can crew the Bank Buster. There's the Invoke Despair. Yeah, we are definitely not long for this world, unfortunately. I feel like we did okay in playing. I feel like we could have done better. Having an extra Invoke Despair would have, or Invoke Justice, excuse me, would have been very helpful. But truthfully, with the Invoke Despairs on their side, like, there's not a lot we would have been able to hit, right? Yeah, that's game. Fair enough, guys. Let's go ahead and move to a game 3. Hopefully we can get a win. Let's see if we can. All right, guys, here we are for game number 3. Man, we'll try it. I know we ran into mana issues last time, but let's give it a shot, guys. Let's see. We are on the play, which is helpful, especially with the tapped lands. The tapped lands are like wicked good. Oh, come on, again. They are quite good in this deck, obviously, because we do have a lot of mana constraints, so that is something we have to consider. Really importantly, we do have Fateful Absence available next turn. So against this Soldier deck, we might have a shot. Might is the keyword. We'll see. We will see. Another target creature you control, so it cannot be the same creature. Okay. So we will pass and potentially either counter something or Fateful Absence something. All we need to do is slow him down to a point where we can Farewell. Or Portal, but I think obviously Farewell is first. I think I just counter that. I think it represents more damage. So countering that seems like the best play. They can use that ability at some point, but ideally we will have Farewelled by that point, right? So we'll see. Yep, they're gonna hit for just 2. They are not attacking with the frontliner. Oh, because it enlists. Duh. So this gives them the scry. That makes sense. I always forget about the enlist mechanic, so as it attacks, you can tap a non-attacking creature. When you do, yeah, you get to add the power anyway. Very good. Very, very good. We do have the Fateful Absence still, so I'm not, like, crazy concerned, but we certainly want to get something going here, right? Like, that's important. We might find a place to Fateful Absence and then Urtai's Scorn, potentially. We'll see. They are really looking at mana, it looks like, which is definitely fair. So let's see what they do. Another one, huh? So I think I let that hit. They did not play anything else. Okay. Should have let, or I should have gone to. That's okay. All right. Thinking out loud. Sorry, guys. I should have probably countered that, to be honest. But we'll see. I kind of want them not to attack there, and then we can, yeah. So this is actually really punished. This move is punished by just a Fateful Absence. And if they do attack with both, I actually think we kill the Veteran, potentially. I guess I don't need to be in full control, but we'll see. One more land gets us to Farewell, not next turn, but the turn after, which is pretty reasonable. I think I'm actually just going to kill the Guardian. Maybe a little silly, but this forces a potential discard. I should have done this pre-combat, so that was a bit of a mistake on my end. Yeah, they are going to discard. That's fine. Bit of a mistake, I think, on my end for sure, but we'll see what we can do. I would love a depopulate. Depopulate would probably just be the best thing we could get. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage this upcoming turn. So we really just need to prevent Prevent 2 more damage. So any veteran is terrible. We'll see what they do. Nice. That's actually really important. Funny enough, because that does mean they can probably kill us regardless. Assuming they attack with everything. Yeah, I think they're probably going to get us here, but that's fine. We have not played very efficiently, I'll just be honest. We've lost 2 of the 3 games so far. That's terrifying. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They just have us. Guys, I want to do one more. We're going to try and get a win with this. I'm not playing very well, so I'm hoping to clean this up in game 4. Let's see what we can do. All right, guys, here we are for our last game. It has to be our last game. I will keep this. We've got 3 lands. We've got Might Stones. We've got everything. Let's see what we can do. All right. Let's see what we can do. All right, interesting. We'll see what that ends up being. All right, so we can play that, and that'll give us Faithful Mending, which is phenomenal. The question is, what do we draw, really? So let's go ahead and do this for sure. Ugh, that's not ideal, is it? Actually think it's you and probably you, knowing that it's Athalia. It's just gonna slow us down, unfortunately, so like there's not a ton we can do about that. Yeah. Oof, rough. Thalia, man, it really, really wrecks this deck, for sure. Okay. So what, depopulate again? Depopulate is the answer, everybody. Always the answer. Yeah, I think we just pass. Ugh. Guys, we're not doing so hot. I'm just gonna be honest. All right. I don't think this is a situation where we're playing incorrectly. I think we just don't have the cards we need in hand. Depopulate's the card we need, for sure. Let's see if we can get it. Yes. Freaking heck yeah. All right, let's discard these 2. That's perfect. That is amazing. All right, sick. Get that crap out of there. They are stuck on mana too, so we are going to just wreck this as best we can. We'll see what happens. If they have another Thalia, it could still be annoying, sure. It's not the end of the world, but it is definitely annoying. So I think we just pass, right? I don't actually think we have to force the issue quite yet. They did find a land, by the way. Yeah. I will go ahead and kill the Thalia. That cheapens up our Faithful Mending, so we can actually use this. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll discard and invoke. It's either land or Spara's headquarters, isn't it? Wow, land or Artai's Scorn. Wow, it's really tricky to say all these names. Let's see what we've got. Let's invoke. Let's go ahead and get you. So basically the goal at this point is to start pivoting, right? So at this point we have theoretically stabilized, assuming they don't have too much, and yeah, there we go, we just got the win. Well, that was a little less exciting. Dang, all right, well, we got the win, that's cool. Not unhappy about that. Guys, let's wrap this one up. All right, guys, so first off, John, thank you so much, my man, again. I always appreciate you sharing deck lists. Unfortunately, didn't do so well. I did a lot better in practice, weirdly. I think I played 3 games or something like that. I won 2 of the 3, so I didn't win all of them by any means. But it was very easy to actually take over the board. I think we just didn't draw our, like, at any point during most of those games, I will say at least 2 or 3 of them, like, if we had had a depopulate, we would have been fine, right? So maybe it's just a skew of how many of each sweeper we have, or maybe we can up that at some point. But genuinely, I think this deck has the tools. We just didn't draw the tools. So I think it's more just a matter of like you're either gonna hit it or you're not. As far as the combo of Invoke Justice into something really powerful, of which there are plenty of options, I think the deck is really good at obviously incorporating that in. Now, one thing I will say is we have three Faithful Mending and 3 whatever, draw 3 and discard 1 or discard 2 depending on what you discard. Thirst for Knowledge, is it Thirst for Knowledge? Oh god, I don't know. Anyway, we've got like a 3 and 3 split there, and then a handful of other ways to draw cards but not always discard cards. I'm wondering if like a Celestis or something along those lines would also help smooth out mana and give us a way to loot. Just to be able to kind of consistently loot and guarantee we can get the cards we need in the graveyard. That's not necessarily the biggest issue with the deck in my opinion, but I do think that would help smooth things out just a little bit. I do think mana was occasionally a bit of a problem. We were able to kind of dig out of it each time, but I think that's something to be aware of, that playing with that mana base a little bit might help us out. All of that to say though, the idea of this deck is really just to be a fun kind of Invoke Justice silliness style deck. And thankfully it does that. So I love it for that reason. I hope you guys enjoy this deck. I hope you'll take it, give it a shot and see what you can do with it. Let me know if you get to a point where your deck list feels like the optimal deck list. I would actually really love to see what you guys can do with this one. This is one of those that I really want to revisit down the line and see what we can do with it, and for good reason, obviously. I think these big fun decks like this are just the best. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, new Patreon rewards will be out December 1st, so I do encourage you guys to check that out. I believe that's even tomorrow. I don't know. But guys, thank you so much. I really do love you guys. Thank you for being a part of our community and watching. Love you. I'll see you again soon.